I was born an identical twin in Louisville, Kentucky. Meaning from the get-go, from day one, I was seen as different. See, with identical twins, some of those people who aren't identical twins tend to point, stare, whisper behind your back. My mother, who was as proud as she could be to be the mother of identical twin boys, took full advantage of the situation. She dressed my brother and me in identical twin clothes. So even more people stared. My parents, Laura and Eugene Smith, had 4 kids. First there was Rachel. Then the next year was my sister Evie. And the year after that was my twin brother Lonnie. And 2 minutes after that was me. Right after Mama had me, as they were moving her from the operating table to take her back to her room, they dropped her. Don't ask me how it happened, but it happened. Broke her back. Nobody sued anybody in those days. Back then the attitude was, shit happens. Then you get on with your life. Mama kept plugging away. She wound up working the line at a cigarette factory for over 30 years. And she slept with a plywood board under her mattress every night for the rest of her life. Think about it. In 27 months, my mother went from having 0 kids to 4 kids. And she had a broken back. And she worked a factory job. And as a kind of bonus, she had an alcoholic for a husband. In time, I would learn that my mother was a lot tougher than she looked. The first place we called home was the projects, or as the government called them, public housing. You heard right, the projects. Lots of people today, especially if they're under 50, think blacks have this exclusive deal living in Louisville's projects. Wrong. Our projects were all white. They were called Parkway Place in Louisville's Park Hill neighborhood. Our apartment had 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom for 6 people. Mom and Daddy got 1 bedroom and the 4 of us kids got the other one. 2 sets of bunk beds. 1 for the boys, 1 for the girls. That's the way that worked. The buildings in our project were shaped kind of like a fort with this big grassy courtyard in the middle. Except there were so many kids in our projects. There wasn't a blade of grass in that courtyard. Nothing but dust. One more thing. Late at night when I was supposed to be sleeping, I'd lie in my bunk bed and look out the window at the big cigarette factory. Same one my mother worked at. Its sign flashed on and off all night long while I lay there and stared at it, wondering what was out there in the world for me. Not far away, there was this giant whiskey bottle on top of a distillery. That bottle's still up there. Go look sometime. There they were, whiskey and cigarettes, looking down on us 24/7. Those projects are still there today. Still Parkway Place. Now black instead of white. Before I started grade school, we moved farther west into this dinky little 2-bedroom rental house. I guess Mom and Dad both thought they took a big step up moving into any kind of house. So, I grew up in the west end of Louisville, Kentucky, on Wyandotte Avenue. Blue collar, plain speaking people who got up in the dark to go to work in the morning. Lived in an all white neighborhood, had all white friends, went to an all white grade school, shopped at all white stores. White, white, white. Mine was an all white world, except for the other side of Wilson Avenue. Wilson Avenue was the dividing line, the border, the half real and half imaginary barrier that kept the blacks away, kept us white kids safe. Today, if I'm on that part of town, I always make a point to drive down Wyandotte, roll past that little cracker box of a rental house we lived in. Of course, everybody I know has long since moved away from that part of town. But for me, ghosts are still there. Those memories, well, some of them, still haunt me to this very day. When I was a kid, in the summertime, late at night, I would join all the other kids, and we would sit inside this big yellow circle on the ground out near the street, under the street light, and we would tell ghost stories. Told the story of the homicidal maniac with a hook for the hand. Told the story of the babysitter all alone in the dark, spooky house. Told the story of the teenage boyfriend and girlfriend who go to the park, hear weird noises, and walk into the woods to check it out, and never come back. Well, they come back, just not in one piece. Detached arm here, severed head there. But the story that scared us the most, the one that froze our blood, was about a real place. A place not 2 blocks away from us. In neighborhood lore, this story became known as the Land of No Return. Jimmy was the kid who told that story, and we believed every word he said. Why wouldn't we? Jimmy was the fastest runner in the whole 5th grade. Y'all see that thing out there in the middle of the street? Of course, the manhole covers stoop. That's where the niggers come from. Yeah, around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, the nigger kids leave them projects over there across Wilson. And they go down in a manhole. And they start crawling. And they crawl. And they crawl. Crawling through that sewer pipe, coming in our direction. They crawl all the way under Wilson Avenue. When they get over here on our side, they look for an opening. And then they push that manhole cover off. Y'all know how heavy one of the manhole covers is. It takes 4 or 5 of the nigger kids to do it. Then they climb up to the street. And when they get on the street, they go looking for the white kid's house. When they find the one they want, they climb through a window. And they sneak around in that dark house where all them white people are sleeping, looking for that white kid's room. And when they find it, they go right up to that bed and they snatch him! They pull that kid out of that house, down the street, even go down in that manhole, push that lid back so nobody even knows where that white kid even disappeared to. Then they drag that kid all the way back under Wilson Avenue, back to the projects. That's the last time anybody ever seen that white kid. I heard they got a kid from here not 2 weeks ago. I don't know, some kid over on Brook Street. But they got him all right. Did they kill him? Shit. If he was lucky. First they got out there. Switchblades. Everybody knows every single nigger kid's got a switchblade knife, even the girls. And they start having some fun, carving on this kid. Then when all the blood's run out, yeah, I guess they kill him! Run on home then, chickens! Just remember what I told you. Keep them doors and windows locked, unless you want the nigger kids stealing you. All the boys and girls ran home except for me. I stayed there with Jimmy. We took turns throwing rocks up at the street light, trying to break it. I wasn't that scared. I'd heard enough of Jimmy's stories to know he could stretch things a little bit. But when I heard Mama's voice calling me home, I made sure I had some rocks in my hand when I left that yellow circle. 2 days later, with those same kids hanging out on my front porch, the impossible happened. Negroes coming down our street! There was a black boy pedaling a bicycle, and a second black boy sitting up on the handlebars. Must have been taking a shortcut down Wyandotte to get home. Jimmy was the first kid to jump off my porch. Let's get him! Then all the other boys and girls jumped off my porch, me included, following Jimmy. Well, the black kid pedaling the bicycle looked over and saw a gang of white kids running after him, and he started pedaling as fast as he could go, while that kid up on the handlebars hung on for dear life. They had 2 blocks to get to Wilson Avenue, and then safety on the other side. They made it past the first block, and then that kid, that one up on the handlebars, he twisted around to see how close we were. And I saw the most terrified look I'd ever seen on a kid's face in my life. And then I realized he wasn't looking at us. He was looking at me. He was terrified of me. I stopped right there in the middle of the street, and the other kids ran on by me, still in the chase. They were going to have to stop when they got to Wilson Avenue. Wilson Avenue was a dangerous street, had a lot of cars on it. You could get run over on Wilson Avenue. But the closer they got, I saw they weren't going to stop. They weren't even going to slow down, not with Jimmy right behind them. They zoomed out into the street, and I heard the sickening sound of car tires. Saw a car swerve, barely missing. They made it, safe on the other side. Jimmy and the rest of the white kids had to stop right there at the edge of the land of no return and just stare across the street. Well, the black kids, as soon as they got across, they jumped off their bike and turned back to yell across the street. Yeah, you damn honkies! Think you're so tough? Come on over here to this side of Wilson. We'll kick your ass. Come on! Jimmy and the rest of the white kids gave it right back. Oh yeah? Don't you damn niggers ever come down Wyandotte again. If you know what's good for you, we'll kick your ass. And the hateful words went back and forth and back and forth until the black kids went on home. And Jimmy waved the white kids back to my house to celebrate. By then, I'd already pushed past the screen door of my parents' house, had already felt the hot burn move across my face. That burn of pure shame. I never forgot that terrified look on that kid's eyes. I had done that to him. I had put that fear in him. I had given this kid I didn't even know, a reason to hate me. And I would never think about Wilson Avenue and the land of no return the same way again. Bus ride. I'm 9 years old, years and years and years ago, riding that city bus with Mama. Yeah, we're still on 18th Street, just 10 minutes from home. So why does this long street take on the freaky beat with a strange-looking skin and bone? I got questions, lots of questions for a young boy to unpack. Just what do the people do in them houses? I mean, besides stand around and be black. Do they have a couch in the front room? Do they have a radio and a kitchen table too? Do they even have a real TV? Sounds crazy. Maybe they do. Do they have warm beds to sleep in? Do the kids do homework like us? Do the parents give them chores to do, and when they don't, do the parents all fuss? You can imagine just about anything about people you don't know, people you don't know, people you don't know, people you don't know. Someday, maybe, I'll see what they're like. Won't have to guess from this big bus window. I'm 9 years old, years and years and years ago, riding that city bus with Mama. Yeah. My mother rode the city bus downtown a lot to go shopping. So did us kids. My mother had this strategy. One Saturday she took the girls. Next Saturday she took the boys. Next Saturday it was the girls' turn again. than the boys. This went on all through grade school. One time, no way was she going to take all four of us on the city bus together, by the way, except at Christmas and Easter. One time when it was Lonnie and my turn, we took the 18th Street bus to Broadway, then transferred to the Broadway bus, and took the Broadway bus down to 8th Street. That's where the gigantic Sears and Roebuck department store was. And Mama took us two boys inside to look for church shirts for boys. She walked up to the rack and took a shirt off and studied it for missing buttons, loose threads, price. And she put it back on the rack. And she took out the next church shirt and studied it the same way, looking for any imperfections. She put that back on the rack. And then she took out another church shirt, while Lonnie and I acted like boys. When Mama got finished looking at all the church shirts in Sears, we walked down Broadway to 4th Street. 4th Street was where it was happening in those days. If you were white, big fancy department stores, movie houses, all kinds of shops. Mama would walk us into one store, and then another store, and then another store, and then another. If we had walked one more block, we would have walked straight into the Ohio River. True story. One time when Mama actually had enough money to buy church shirts instead of just look at them, she showed Lonnie and me what her money-saving skills were all about. We'd started at Sears, like usual, and walked down to Broadway, and then walked down 4th Street, looking at every church shirt ever made in the history of the world. And when we got near the river, I swear, she turned us around, and we walked all the way back down 4th Street, and then all the way back down Broadway, all the way to Sears. Why? Sears church shirts for boys were a quarter cheaper. Quarter. That's how tight money was in those days. Heck, back then a quarter could buy 3 loaves of bread if Mama caught them on sale. When we got home, there was our little dinky house waiting for us. Mama tried her best to make our house feel safer, feel more like a home. Out back, there was that creepy alley she just had to deal with. No lights. That meant people passing through at night had voices she couldn't recognize and faces she couldn't see. Inside the house, we had all those water bugs. You know, the black shiny things? Man, we had so many water bugs. When we came home at night and turned the light on, about a dozen of them scattered across the floor. Fast little guys, all making a run for it, diving into the heat register and squeezing through the cracks in the walls. At bedtime, it was a different story. I'd lie there and I'd pull out sofa couch in the dark and sometimes feel something, barely feel something, taking a hike across my foot, walking up my ankle. Brother water bug, checking me out. I just gave the blanket a little flick and sent brother off into deep space. And then I just turned over and went back to sleep. On a popularity scale, my mother and sisters hated them. My father put up with them. And my brother and I, we thought they were hilarious. The way when you came home and turned the light on, they all made a run for it, crashing into each other, doing somersaults. Kind of looked like the clown car at the circus. Yeah, if you rented a house on Wyandotte Avenue, water bugs came with the property. No extra charge. Daddy didn't have a lot to say about water bugs, but he let me know how he felt about some other things. See these, Donnie? Brass knuckles. Well, are they real brass knuckles, Daddy? The kind you fight with? I used them for protection, yeah. But you fought with them too, right, Daddy? How old are you, Donnie? 10. 10. I wasn't much older than 10 the first time I pulled these things on. Who'd you fight, Daddy? Negroes, mainly. I remember one night I was heading home by myself, and I look up at the sidewalk, and here's this big gang of Negroes headed my way. Well, the closer they get, it's plain to see. They ain't gonna get off the sidewalk for me. They expect me to get off the sidewalk for them. Imagine that. Negroes expecting a white person to get off the sidewalk for them. So, did you get off the sidewalk, Daddy? Hell no, I didn't get off the sidewalk, not for no Negroes. So, there was a fight, Daddy. Did you win? Let's just say I didn't get off the sidewalk for no Negroes. Let me tell you something, Donnie. Don't you never get off the sidewalk for a Negro. You hear me? Okay. I mean it! I won't. My father had different ways to deal with his anger. Usually it was down the street at the neighborhood tavern. And my mother had her own way to deal with my father. Come on, kids. We're almost there. Let's stop here. Is he in there, Mama? Yeah, he's in there. You kids ready to sing? Okay, I'll start. On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. And I love that old cross, where the dearest and best for a world of lost sinners was slain. Hey, Smitty, ain't that your wife and kids out on the sidewalk singing? What are you talking about? Out on the sidewalk. Well, I'll be damned. Lord, what are you doing out here? We're singing to you, waiting for you to come out so we can all go home. You ready to go home? Maybe. Then we'll just stay out here and sing some more till you're ready to go home. Then I'll cherish the old rugged. Okay. Let's all go home. Like I said, my mother was a lot tougher than she looked. When it came to protecting her children, she could take on grown men if she had to. This your house, son? Yeah. Miss Smith, are you this boy's mother? I am. He was riding the train across Cypress Street. Threw a rock and hit my car right on the hood. Donnie, you were riding the train? Just a little ways more, but I didn't throw no rock. Jimmy did. I didn't see no boys but this one. He needs to be punished for what he did to my car. Scratched up my hood. Come in the house, Donnie. That boy's gonna turn into a juvenile delinquent if you don't do something about it. He needs to be disciplined right now. Make him teach some kind of responsibility. Thanks for bringing him home. Donnie, you say you didn't throw no rocks at that man's car? I didn't throw nothing, Mama. Jimmy did. Then he took off. That Jimmy. I don't know where he went, Mama. He just took off. It's okay, Donnie. It's okay. Mama believed me. After that, I tried as hard as I could never to disappoint her. Oh, I still rode a boxcar home from school every now and then. I just didn't tell her. My father may have been born an alcoholic, but he wasn't born a bigot. And he wasn't a hard ass, not all the time. Truth was, my father was complicated. Liked to tell stories, make his friends laugh. And he loved country music and rhythm and blues. Ray Charles was one of his favorites. He even had a Ray Charles album. Go figure. And he really loved my mother. When World War II started, Daddy tried to join the military, but he was rejected. Bad eardrum. So he did odd jobs around town. Sometimes went down in the country to help relatives on their farms. Not long ago, I came across a letter he wrote when he was on one of those farms. It was written to Laura Allen, his sweetheart, my mother. Darling Laura, well, honey, this is my second night and I am blue as hell. I sure do miss you, honey. Seems like the longer I'm away from you, the more I realize how much I love you. I think when I get back, we'll start looking for a preacher. No kidding, honey. I've got the blues. I wish you were with me. Maybe the stars, trees, hills, and moon wouldn't look so bad. Well, honey, it's getting late. Everybody's gone to bed. 9 o'clock. So I will close, hoping this finds you as much in love with me as before I left. Guess I better go to bed and dream about you now. With all my love, Jean. That letter was mailed to my mother's parents' house at 1514 Wilson Avenue. Postmarked October 22nd, 1944. They were married just a few months later. Things didn't stay rosy for long. You think COVID's risky business? When Lonnie and I were 4 years old, this thing called polio was racing across America like a wildfire. Polio attacked children mainly, paralyzed their muscles. Lonnie caught it. He wound up at Kosare Crippled Children's Hospital. That's what they called it in 1952. They made him wear this awful metal brace on his left leg. His leg was over an inch shorter than the right one, and his ankle was malformed. Still is to this day. How about that? My twin brother and I ate the same food, drank the same water, slept in the same bed, virtually breathed the same air. But this monster, this ugly virus, this evil polio, chose Lonnie and went right by me and right by our sisters. Polio. We hated that disease, and it made our home a nightmare. As for me, I had my own way to escape polio and water bugs and an alcoholic father. It was called grade school. John B. McTherrin Elementary School, Cypress and Hill Street, Louisville, Kentucky. One day a week, our entire class moved down the hallway to a different room, a music room. Even had a different teacher, a music teacher. Well, the music teacher's job was to introduce us to two things. One, singing, and two, rhythm. You know, how to keep a beat. So, in order to teach us rhythm, she passed out 2 wooden sticks to each and every boy and girl in that class. And as we sang, we clacked our sticks together. It was incredibly boring. But this teacher also passed out 2 special instruments. All right, class, who wants to play triangle? Triangle, raise your hand. Who wants to play triangle? I do. And she gave the triangle to a lucky boy or girl. All right, who wants to play tambourine? I do. Pick me, please. And she passed the tambourine out to a lucky boy or girl. I forget which grade I was in by then, but I had enough arithmetic by then to know that if this teacher passed out these 2 special instruments to a different boy and a different girl every week, then eventually she'd pick me, and I'd be able to play one of the special instruments. Well, the weeks went by, and then the months, and I still hadn't been picked, although I raised my hand up every week with all the other kids. Finally, it came down to the last music class of the year. All right, class, who wants to play triangle? And she gave it to a girl. Hey, that meant she was going to pick a boy to play that tambourine. And I knew which one it was going to be, because I'd raised my hand up every week. And she knew I was being patient. So I sat in my chair, Mr. Smug. Here it comes. Watch this. That teacher stepped right toward me with that tambourine, and she gave it to another boy. I never forgot that. That feeling of being left out, ignored. Back then, a lot of people were being left out and ignored. But at least America was finally beginning to do some things to improve its inequality issues. And I began to hear this new word called integration. Before I knew it, it was time to start the 7th grade at that big school on Wilson Avenue. And this integration hit me right between the eyes my very first day at Parkland Junior High School. Dolly, why don't you sit there? Next to the colored girl? Sit down, Donnie. Hey, my name's Diane. All right, class, our first assignment of the year will be to study Project Mercury, NASA's ambitious plan to launch astronauts into outer space. We'll discuss these fact sheets in a couple of weeks, but for now, would anyone like to share with the rest of the class what they already know about Project Mercury? Well, Project Mercury is going to launch 7 astronauts into outer space, one at a time, and they have to deal with like 6 G's of force trying to break away from Earth's gravity. But when they do, they'll be light as a feather. And they say that someday astronauts will even go in orbit around the whole Earth, just like a satellite. Very good, Diane. Thank you. How do you know so much of that space stuff? Well, I listen to the news on the radio. I got a new transistor radio. You know, no cord. I can listen to music wherever I go. The Everybody knows that. That's what I told her. But something was off here. Really off. This Diane wasn't dumb. She was smart. Really smart. And her skin wasn't dirty. It was brown. Chocolate brown. And she hadn't even tried to steal anything from me. Not even a pencil. What are you doing? You smell pretty. I smell pretty? Yeah, like a girl. What are you doing? Nothing. I am a girl, silly. Hey, Donnie, what's your favorite TV show? Oh, I don't know. Quick Draw McGraw? Quick Draw McGraw! That's the funniest cartoon ever. And what's his little buddy's name? Baba Louie? Yeah, that's it, Baba Louie. And what's that line he says every show? Your friend, I think. Oh, it cracks me up. Diane. Donnie. All right, class, you've had 2 weeks to look over your Project Mercury handout. Now I'm going to throw you a curveball. As we know, astronauts have yet to go into outer space, but primates have already experienced the effects of rocket flight. Who can tell me the names of those 2 monkeys? Roger. I got it. Abel and Diane! Cut it out, Roger. Thanks. Their names were Abel and Baker, jerk. And that was the first time I ever defended a black girl for anything in my life. First time I ever defended a black person. Before Parkland, maybe I would have laughed at that cruel joke Roger told too. But now I can see that this Diane could be hurt, just like me. All I had to do was look at her face to see how wrong it was, what Roger did. Most of all, I liked her. That wasn't supposed to be right with me being a white boy, but I did. But I found out I didn't like every black kid. Right down the street from Wyandotte, there was a big city park, Algonquin Park. Algonquin was big and long. And the unusual thing about Algonquin Park was one end of the park was filled with white kids playing who came from their white neighborhoods on that end of the park. And the other end of the park was filled with black kids playing who came from their black neighborhoods on that end of the park. And it was as if there was a glass wall right down the middle of that park, keeping the races away from each other. And the uncanny thing was every single white kid and every single black kid knew exactly where that wall was and never went past it. Well, almost never. Hey! Quit messing with my bike! That was the most beautiful birthday present I ever got. I locked it to the fence, but now it had this big ugly hole ripped out of the front fender where the coolest thing of all was, the headlight. So the colored kid stole it. Now I had to go home and hope Daddy didn't notice. Hi, Daddy. What happened to your new bike, Donnie? locked it up as soon as I got to the park. I locked it up just like you told me to. I said, what happened to your brand new bike? We were playing ball in the field and these kids started messing with it and they tore off the headlight and ran off with it. Were they nigger kids? Yeah. Did you chase after them? Did you run after them after what they did to your bike? We ran after them, Daddy, but then they ran across Wilson Avenue and we had to stop. Niggers. Can't have nothing decent around here thanks to the niggers. Don't you never let a nigger take anything away from you again. You hear me, Donnie? Okay. So, I found out that not every colored kid was an angel, just like I found out colored kids and white kids could misbehave at Parkland. But I knew one colored kid who was an angel. Now I had to ask other white people if they thought I was right, or if they thought I'd turned into some kind of stupid idiot. Mom and Daddy? Oh, no. I went to the experts, Rachel and Evie and Lonnie. Hey, Lonnie, you awake? Lonnie, you awake? No, come on. No. Lonnie, you awake? I am now. Do you think the colored kids are okay? Give me some blanket. I mean it. Do you think the colored kids are okay? Then you hear Rachel and Evie, we're not supposed to call them colored anymore. Now it's black. We're supposed to call them black. Oh. Hey, Lonnie. What? Do you think the black kids are okay? I guess so. Girls too? Girls too what? Black girls too? Do you think black girls are okay? Yeah, they're okay. Everybody's okay. Go to sleep. There it was. Lonnie said Diane was okay. And so did Rachel and Evie, sort of. I mean, they sang along with all those black girl groups on the radio, didn't they? And they said we weren't supposed to call them colored anymore. And if we weren't supposed to call them colored, we sure weren't supposed to call them niggers. It was okay then to do the craziest thing I ever did in my life. Hey, Diane. Excuse me. Hey, Diane. Hey yourself, Donnie. What are you doing here? I got a joke for you. I was going to tell you in class tomorrow, and then I figured I'd probably forget if I wait till tomorrow, so I thought I'd just come by your lock here and just take a chance and be here at fourth period. Because I don't know what your schedule is or anything, so I thought I'd just come by your locker here and tell you my joke, and that's why I'm here. I go to my locker every day after fourth period. Donnie. Oh, you do? Well, anyway, that's why I'm here to tell you my joke. That is so cool. Thank you. Well, what? What are you going to tell me your joke? Oh, yeah. I'm Groucho Marx. Last night, I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How an elephant got in my pajamas, I'll never know. You shot an elephant in your pajamas. Oh, that's a good joke, Donnie. Yeah, I like that. That's good. She thought I was funny. I didn't care if the other kids in the hallway stared at us. This Diane was pretty and smart and different. And I wound up thinking about her all the time. Back in those days, Parkland days, there were trains all over the West End, freight trains. They pulled these big long boxcars behind them. Sometimes I'd walk along these tracks after school with Jimmy, and sometimes I'd walk by myself, kicking rocks and thinking about other things. Say, Diane, when a train could jump up on me out of nowhere, just like Jimmy could. What do you say, Donnie? Jimmy. Man, I didn't think that last school bell would ever ring. Mercury astronauts, who gives a shit? Come on, weekend. So, what do you think of Parkland so far? Ain't so hard, I guess. I'm not talking about the classist stoop. You ever see so many effing niggers in your life? Nope. Nope. We're in the deep shit now. We got a whole school building full of niggers. Hey, train's coming. Let's jump it. Come on, Donnie. Rock's got me good. Don't be such a chicken shit, Donnie. Tell your folks he fell off your little bicycle. So long, Negro lover. So long, Jimmy. That train business tore it with me and Jimmy. Really tore it. And we both knew why. You know, I don't think Jimmy would have been disappointed if those big train wheels had cut my head off. But there was something a lot worse than that headed my way. Something I wouldn't have imagined in 1,000 years. And it was delivered by my very own mother. Hi, Mama. Hi, Donnie. Something bothering you? No? You're gonna finish school with good grades, ain't you? Yeah, pretty good. Wally's parents are getting a divorce. The Farringtons? Yeah, everybody at school knows about it. Don't worry, that's awful, ain't it? Wally said his daddy drinks a lot. A whole lot. Oh, Donnie. Just because a family's got a man that drinks a lot, that don't mean they're all gonna get a divorce. Sometimes drinking just makes it harder for people to get along with each other. But they do. Anyway, you just keep doing good in school. Okay, Mama. I'd say we've been pretty blessed having this house here, even though this house has all them water bugs everywhere you look, and don't you be making nasty jokes about them things. Anyway, this house will do us good enough till we get a house of our own, which we're fixing to do. Yeah. Huh? How'd you like it if we had our very own house, Donnie? No more sleeping on a couch in the front room. Just think, it'd be the very first house we bought. No more stinky garbage in the gutters, no stinky manholes. We'd be living in a place where the air is fresh and clean. Don't smell like the smoke coming out of the city bus. Be the first house we ever bought. You already bought it? Gotta be moving before school starts again. How am I gonna get to Parkland? You'll be going to Valley. Valley? What's Valley? Valley High School. They got 7th grade on, all in the same place. But I got some good friends at Parkland. What's the matter, Donnie? Don't you want us to have our own house? Well, yeah, but don't worry, you'll make new friends. You'll see. Come on, let's get this corn shucked so we got something to eat for supper tonight. What about Diane?